Hi, Brad. You guys go from a high last night to this. I mean, just how do you explain the difference in your team's response?
I would say thus far that's us. So, I mean, that's who we've been, we've had our moments and we've had other poor moments. I thought tonight, obviously I thought we started off with some reasonable energy and then we missed a ton of shots, ton of free throws, ton of shots, and then it really affected our energy. And so, obviously, they deserve a lot of credit. They're on the same stretch we are as far as number of games. They had back-to-back. They traveled last night. So absolutely no excuses other than we just got outplayed by, they're a better team than we are. They beat us twice. They deserve that.
I think with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, you had Kyrie out there with Gershon and Daniel and I think Semi and Brad. What was the thinking?
Well, one of the things when you look back at last year's, two of our guys that were really impactful when we beat them there were were Shemi and Gersh. We needed energy. We weren't going anywhere with what we were doing, so it was better just to mix it up, see if those guys could bring us some live legs, and let's go. We had a moment there where we cut it to 13 or whatever, and I think they won that 8-minute stretch pretty, at least by 5 or 7. But we just needed other guys out there, or at least that's what I felt. Maybe I'm wrong.
Brad, it's kind of been, you talked about the up and down, and this is this team missing the threes. You were 5 for 33 tonight, and the guys putting their head down on defense or getting beat on, on things like that. How can you tell them not to get their head down when they're missing shots, or how do you combat nights when you're gonna miss shots, and how do you combat that?
We have to build a tougher team mindset than we have. We just don't have that mindset yet that we need. That being said, I think that then we also just have to play. I think you miss shots because the other team's dictating how the game is played in a lot of circumstances, and that was somewhat the case tonight. Although we did obviously, we missed a lot of them. But I thought they missed a lot too, and what were they from the free throw line? They were 17 for 27, so it's not like they were setting world records. Better than us, though.
Brad, does it surprise you, though, that this team at this point doesn't have the toughness or the mindset like that to not get down after misses and or you have to pick them up?
Every team's its own entity. There are challenges, that present themselves every single day, and you never know how teams are going to respond. Year to year, just a different deal.
Coach, on the alley-oops, were those missed assignments, or were they just executing? Or?
Well, at the end of the day, even if you make a mistake at the point of attack, then the basket's still more important than everything else. So whenever you give up a dunk, it may be a mistake in certain parts of the action, but all else doesn't matter. If somebody's got a lob, you have to go in there and challenge it. You have to beat them there. You have to be pulled in and help. So obviously, when I made those subs at 8 minutes, we had just given up 3 alley-oop dunks. We were headed for a 30-point loss instead of a 12-point loss.
Coach, you back to these guys hanging their heads. There's a bit of a confidence issue. It seems like.
Did I say that?
Sorry.
Are you asking me, or did I say they were hanging their heads?
I'm saying
okay.
It seems like there's a confidence issue. Well, I guess then, do you see that there's a confidence issue? And if there is, how do you, especially with these younger guys, how do you get them to kind of snap out of that?
I think that's maybe there's something there with what you're saying. I think there's a lot of things that it could be. But at the end of the day, you build confidence through doing really hard things over and over and over, because that's your focus, that's your intent. Your job is your focus. You know what you're supposed to do. You perform every assignment. You do it physically. You do it tough, and then all of a sudden, the ball goes in. It's just kind of funny how it works. The game honors it. I had an old friend that was a one of the best NAI coaches ever, and coached for 34 years in the state of Indiana. And his phrase that his team used was, "The game honors toughness." And boy, is that true. You see that over and over. And so I would say that if we're struggling with the ball going in the hole, that we should just lock into what we need to do better, and that'll take care of itself.
When you talk about your team lacking toughness, maybe when you say that you give up 3 alley-oops in a row, you're heading to a 30-point loss, is it fair to say when you make substitutions like that, you're trying to send a message to your team?
I'm just trying to put in the guys that I think will give us the best chance of, cutting the lead down and maybe having a chance to win at that time. And again, I might be wrong.
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing. I mean, how do you expect the guys to take that? When you take Al out with 8 minutes and they're watching guys who don't play as much in a game that's still...
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, but those other guys watch all the time. And so they deserve the right to compete. And we didn't have any legs, and we had just given up 3 dunks, and it is what it is. Like, if we're frustrated about that, that's fine by me. And at the end of the day, I wanted to see those other guys play because I knew that they would bring great intensity to the game.